January 26th, 1945. Holtzwihr, France. The Colmar Pocket. A German tank destroyer lay burning in a snow-covered field. On top of it, a young American lieutenant, wounded, alone, standing. Around him, 250 German soldiers, 6 Panzer tanks, infantry moving forward through the trees. Behind him, his men, retreating, pinned down, dying. He climbed onto that burning tank destroyer, grabbed the .50 caliber machine gun, and started killing Germans. For an hour. His name was Audie Murphy. He was 19 years old, 5'5", 110 pounds, Texas farm boy, 5th grade education. He would become the most decorated American combat soldier in history. This is the story your father knew, the one that made him understand what Americans were capable of, what one man pushed to the edge could do. Your father knew Audie Murphy. Everyone did. Not just because of the medals, not just because of the movies, but because Audie Murphy represented something deeper. He was proof that courage doesn't come from size or education or privilege. It comes from somewhere else. Somewhere most men never have to find. This is his story. The farm boy who refused to die.
June 20th, 1925. Kingston, Texas, Hunt County. Audie Leon Murphy was born in a sharecropper's shack. Dirt floor. No electricity. No running water. One of 12 children, 8 survived. The kind of poverty that breaks families. The kind that sends children to work instead of school. Audie's childhood was hunger, cold, work, survival. His father picked cotton when he could find work, drank when he couldn't, eventually left when Audie was 15. His mother died a year later, worn out, used up, 37 years old. Audie was 16, responsible for his younger siblings. No money, no prospects, no hope. He'd gone to school until 5th grade, then quit to work, pick cotton, hunt game to feed the family. He was good with a rifle, exceptional, had to be. If he didn't bring home rabbit or squirrel, the family didn't eat. December 7th, 1941, Pearl Harbor. Audie heard the news on the radio, knew what he had to do. He tried to enlist. Army rejected him. Too small, underweight. Navy rejected him. Marines rejected him. He wouldn't quit. His sister helped him falsify his birth certificate, made him old enough. He lied about his weight. Finally, in June 1942, the Army took him. He was 17 years old, 5'5", 110 pounds, soaking wet. His drill sergeant called him Baby. Boot camp at Camp Walters, Texas. Audie loved the rifle range, volunteered for extra time, loved the machine guns. His marksmanship wasn't great from fixed positions. He'd learned to hunt on the move, spot shooting, instinctive. But give him a target and the freedom to shoot his way, and he never missed. His company commander looked at this scrawny kid and thought cook or baker, anything but combat. Audie refused. He wanted to fight. July 10th, 1943. Sicily. Operation Husky. Audie Murphy's first taste of combat. The 15th Regiment, 3rd Infantry Division landed at Licata, met German and Italian defenders. Audie learned quickly that war wasn't romantic, wasn't adventurous. It was mountains, exhaustion, hunger, thirst, death. But something happened in Sicily. Something changed in Audie Murphy. He volunteered for patrols, took point during advances, showed no fear. His platoon leader noticed something disturbing. This quiet farm boy had a hard, cold approach to killing. On one patrol, Audie spotted 2 Italian officers escaping on white horses. Beautiful animals, officers in full uniform. Audie shot them both, calmly, precisely. His lieutenant asked him, "Why'd you do that?" Audie replied simply, "They were the enemy." No emotion, no regret, just facts. The war hadn't made Audie Murphy hard. Life had done that already. The war just gave him a place to channel it.
Italy, Monte Cassino, Anzio, Rome. The 3rd Infantry Division ground its way up the Italian boot, house by house, hill by hill, body by body. Audie Murphy was always at the front, always volunteering, always hunting, because that's what he did. He hunted Germans the way he'd hunted rabbits in Texas, methodically, efficiently, without hesitation. His first Bronze Star came from a night patrol. He destroyed a damaged German tank with rifle grenades and Molotov cocktails, prevented them from repairing it. His reputation grew. Other soldiers noticed this kid from Texas. Quiet, polite, wouldn't harm a fly in camp. But put him on patrol, give him a weapon, and he transformed. He'd go out alone, stalk Germans, kill them, come back. Never bragged, never exaggerated, just did the job.
August 1944. Southern France. Operation Dragoon. The invasion. Murphy's company was pinned down. Germans in a hilltop pillbox. Machine gun fire, cutting them down. Murphy didn't wait for orders. He climbed that hill, alone, under fire, killed 2 Germans at the pillbox, ran back down, got a machine gun, ran back up, under fire the whole time. A sniper shot his friend. Murphy found the snipers, killed them both, went back to the pillbox, wiped out the remaining Germans, cleared the entire hill by himself. He won the Distinguished Service Cross, 2nd highest award for valor. He was 19 years old. September, October, November. The fighting never stopped. Murphy was wounded, shrapnel from a mortar, shot in the hip. Each time, he recovered and went back. His men loved him. He led from the front. Never asked them to do anything he wouldn't do himself. Usually did it first. His officers promoted him. Corporal, sergeant, staff sergeant. He was still a teenager. By late 1944, Murphy had been in combat for over a year, seen things no one should see, done things he'd never forget. Most men would have broken. Combat fatigue, shell shock, psychological collapse. Murphy kept going. Your father understood men like Audie Murphy. Men who'd seen too much, done too much, who kept their demons locked inside because the war wasn't over yet. Men who functioned because they had to, because their buddies needed them, because quitting wasn't an option.
January 26, 1945. Holtzwihr, France. The Colmar Pocket. The Germans had launched a counterattack, part of their last desperate offensive. Different sector from the Battle of the Bulge, but same German desperation. Murphy's company was ordered to hold a position in the woods near Holtzwihr. Dense forest, snow-covered fields, visibility limited. Murphy was now a second lieutenant, battlefield commission, 20 men under his command. The Germans came with everything: infantry, panzers, artillery support. 250 German soldiers, 6 tanks, against Murphy's 20 men.
Der attack hit hard, fast, overwhelming. German artillery shreddete die treeline. Machine guns cut through the snow. Die Panzer ground forward. Murphy's men started taking casualties. The line was breaking. An American tank destroyer moved up to help, an M10, open-topped, crew exposed. Ein German shell hit it, direct hit. The crew bailed out, some wounded, some dead. The tank destroyer was burning, engine on fire, fuel tanks could blow any second. Murphy saw his men falling back, pinned down. The Germans advancing through the trees. If they broke through here, the entire line would collapse. More Americans would die. The Germans would push deeper. He couldn't let that happen. Murphy ordered his men to fall back, get to cover. He'd provide covering fire. They retreated. He didn't.
Audie Murphy climbed onto that burning tank destroyer. Let that sink in. Burning. Engine on fire. Ammunition on board. Fuel tanks ready to explode. He climbed on top of it. The M10 had a .50 caliber machine gun, still operational, still loaded. Murphy grabbed it, swung it toward the advancing Germans, and opened fire. The Germans saw him. One man on a burning vehicle, exposed, alone. They poured fire at him. Rifles, machine guns, tank rounds, bullets hitting all around, the tank destroyer shaking from impacts, still burning, smoke and flames. Murphy didn't move, didn't flinch, just kept firing. For an hour, Murphy held that position. An hour, 60 minutes, alone, on a burning tank destroyer against 250 Germans and 6 Panzer tanks. He worked that .50 caliber like he'd worked a hunting rifle in Texas. Methodical, precise, deadly. Germans fell. Squads were decimated. The advance stalled. They couldn't believe one man was stopping them. They tried flanking. He killed them. They tried rushing. He killed them. The Panzers fired at him, missed, or hit the tank destroyer's armor. Murphy kept firing. His phone line back to headquarters stayed connected. Barely. He called in artillery strikes on his own position, told them where to drop shells, directed fire while shooting, while under fire, while standing on a bomb. The Germans couldn't advance. Every time they tried, Murphy cut them down.
Then he was hit. Leg wounds. Both legs. Blood soaking his pants. Pain screaming through him. He kept firing. The .50 caliber ran out of ammunition. Belt after belt emptied. Finally, nothing left. The tank destroyer was still burning, still ready to explode. Now he had no weapon, no reason to stay. But the Germans didn't know he was out of ammunition. Murphy stayed there, wounded, weaponless, making them think he was still dangerous, buying time for his men to regroup. Finally, he climbed down, walked back to his men, both legs bleeding, refused medical evacuation, grabbed his rifle, led his men in a counterattack. The Germans had been so mauled by Murphy's hour on that tank destroyer that they couldn't hold. The Americans pushed them back, regained the position, won. Because of one man, 1 hour, 1 tank destroyer.
The after-action report estimated Murphy killed or wounded 50 Germans. 50! By himself. He'd held off 250 German soldiers and 6 tanks for an hour, alone, while wounded, on a burning vehicle.
It was the single most audacious act of courage in the European theater. They recommended him for the Medal of Honor, America's highest award for valor. Audie Murphy was 19 years old. The war in Europe ended 4 months later. Murphy had been in combat for 20 months, never once pulled from the line voluntarily, only wounded 3 times, always went back. By war's end, he'd earned 33 awards and decorations. Every single American Combat Award for valor, every one. 3 Purple Hearts, 2 Silver Stars, the Distinguished Service Cross, Legion of Merit, Bronze Stars, the Medal of Honor, and awards from France and Belgium, America's most decorated combat soldier.
Your father knew about Audie Murphy. Everyone did. In June 1945, Life magazine put him on the cover, America's most decorated soldier. The whole country celebrated him. Parades, ceremonies, heroes welcome. Actor James Cagney saw that Life magazine cover, invited Murphy to Hollywood, gave him acting lessons, launched his movie career. Murphy became a star, made over 40 films, mostly westerns, played heroes, played soldiers, played himself. But fame didn't heal the wounds you couldn't see.
Audie Murphy suffered combat nightmares, insomnia, what we now call PTSD. He slept with a loaded pistol under his pillow, couldn't sleep without it, couldn't trust the darkness. The farm boy who'd killed 241 enemy soldiers couldn't forget their faces. The teenager who'd stood on a burning tank destroyer for an hour couldn't stop reliving it. He had flashbacks, anxiety, depression. This was 1945, 1950, 1960. Nobody called it PTSD yet. Nobody understood it. They called it shell shock, or combat fatigue, or being weak. But Audie Murphy did something most combat veterans wouldn't do. He talked about it. Publicly, openly, to newspapers, to Congress, to anyone who would listen. He said veterans needed help, needed treatment, needed understanding. He used his fame to fight for veterans' mental health care, decades before it became acceptable. He admitted his own struggles, his own nightmares, his own demons. That took more courage than standing on a burning tank destroyer.
Your father respected Audie Murphy for all of it. For the courage in combat, for the humility after, for the honesty about the cost. Murphy wrote his memoir, To Hell and Back, in 1949. It became a bestseller. He played himself in the movie version. He toned down his actual heroics because nobody would believe them. He joined the Texas National Guard, rose to major, served his state. He married, had children, built a life, but he never forgot the men who didn't come home, never stopped fighting for veterans, never let America forget what the war had cost. When Murphy was buried at Arlington National Cemetery, he requested a plain headstone, like any other soldier. Medal of Honor recipients usually get headstones with gold gilt, special, fancy. Murphy said no. He wanted to be buried like the men he'd served with, the men who died beside him. No special treatment, just a soldier.
May 28th, 1971. Audie Murphy died in a plane crash in Virginia. He was 45 years old. More people visited his grave at Arlington than any other grave except President Kennedy's for years, decades. Because Americans remembered. They remembered the farm boy from Texas, the kid who'd grown up with nothing, who'd been rejected by everyone, who'd fought his way into the war,
They remembered the soldier who'd climbed onto a burning tank destroyer and held off an army. They remembered the man who'd come home and fought for veterans when nobody else would.
Your father knew what Audie Murphy represented. Not just courage, not just medals, not just heroism, but something deeper. Proof that America's strength doesn't come from wealth or privilege or education. It comes from farms and factories and small towns, from ordinary people pushed to extraordinary circumstances, from men who refuse to quit, even when quitting makes sense. Audie Murphy stood 5'5", weighed 110 pounds, had a 5th grade education. He became the most decorated American soldier in history because when the moment came, when everything was on the line, he climbed onto that burning tank destroyer and fought. For an hour, alone, wounded, against impossible odds. And he won. That's what your father understood about America, about Americans, about what we're capable of when we have to be. Audie Murphy proved it on January 26, 1945, in a snow-covered field in France. And every day after until he died, at 45, he proved it again by living with the cost. This is his story. This is what your father knew. This is America at its best and its most painful. The farm boy who refused to die.